Hey guys, this is John.
And Andrew.
And this is another episode of the Meatgistics podcast without Austin. This is the third one in a row, right? He was gone, and then we recorded another one with Nick Hoffman, which will release a week from whenever you're listening to this. And then this one. Is he even on the podcast anymore? It's like his sister comes back and she gets kicked right off, or he gets kicked right off.
Yeah, but he hadn't been replaced, so
He's kind of been replaced.
I would say yes.
Austin, you might have been replaced. That gave me the confidence to start wearing a team blue hat again. So
Bold.
I don't have to have some stupid argument with him about orange versus blue.
I mean, you can't let things slide, right? Like he's still going to watch this at some point.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Him watching it doesn't bother me. It's just when he's here face to face. I have trouble defying Austin. So
defy is a tough word.
Defy is a tough word. I have trouble going against Austin.
It makes it feel a little bit more finite. Like,
yeah. If you can hear it in my voice, I'm fighting through something.
Demons.
Inner demons. My cough has been ridiculous for the last couple of days. It sounds like the dinosaur roar, it's that part, like the underneath it, the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
It's a very specific sound.
It's a very specific sound. I can hear it in my ears. Okay, we've got some food things. Let's get to these first because I'm very excited about.
Is this a food podcast?
Nominally, it is about food.
I got to look up words now.
We don't often talk about food. I also don't have my laptop in here with me, so at some point I'm gonna have to pause and go get that.
Nominally,
so that we can nominally. It's like in name.
Banana. Nominally.
It's so weird that Patrick gets some of that's an old reference for me, and it's mana. Yeah, it's weird that he gets that because I'm too young for that reference.
I think
the fact that you get it.
Someone used it to they're saying phenomenon or something.
Oh, okay. So from something else.
They revamped it. It's a parody of that. But now that I didn't know it was that old, so it's a happy accident. So look at that. And he's gone. Oh, he's back.
I wanted my mute button.
Oh,
so anytime I'm coughing or anything, I can do that.
It's a cough box.
Everybody knows it. What is it where what do they call that? Where it's where you misremember something, the logo is this, but you remember
the subtle
this
difference.
Way.
Yeah. That's just my life.
Well, don't they call that the Mandela effect?
It's been overused.
But that's part of it. They're like,
definitely.
Fruit of the Loom's never had a
just subtle
cornucopia. But then the lady found a tag with the cornucopia.
I think we all know it had a cornucopia.
It definitely had a cornucopia.
And we're kind of just letting that. That's the one that probably peeves me off the most. So.
It definitely had a cornucopia. Okay. Back to the food I have up here. We've got a steak coming, and we've got a summer sausage up here. So on Meatgistics recently, if you follow along on all the posts, salmon summer sausage just kept coming up. Like people were like, "Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this?" So we're going to try a bunch of different things. This is our initial foray into it. All this is a nice whole chunk of salmon, Sure-Gel, Mandarin teriyaki snack stick seasoning, and Sure-Cure. That's all we put in here.
Nope. Love.
I forget. The secret ingredient is love. What was that show? See something 2020? Yeah. What? No, it's Space Ghost 2020, wasn't it?
This might be subtly one of
C-Lab.
C-Lab, yeah.
That's what it was.
I always missed that one. It was like credits.
That was my favorite one. Okay. Back to this. So that's all that's in here. We then smoked it in the PK 100 because I was not going to put this in our big commercial smokehouse and stink up the whole place and get people annoyed. Because making fish at work is a tricky line to go there.
You're not supposed to do it. Yeah.
People will get very upset about it. So I did that. I even set up the sous vide cooker outside because we smoked it till it was about 130. It actually got a little bit past that. It went up to 131. And then I moved it into a sous vide cooker that was at 170 degrees. And I did that until it was 160. I know there are going to be differences on what temperature we should get this to. I did it because A, this is our first one. B, I like the texture of a little bit drier of a summer sausage. Like you stop at 152, 155, everything's going to be a little more moist or just wetter. All right. So I've already had this.
Well, you forgot the most obvious reason,
which is
introducing salmon back to its natural habitat.
Correct.
Water.
That is why you want to do, just like we say, you should start cooking any type of protein within 20 degrees of what its temperature was when it was alive. You should finish cooking any product in what its natural environment was. So fish makes sense.
I used to tell people that, and they looked at me like I was nuts.
All right.
Like milk steaks.
Milk steak. He doesn't want any, so I'm very excited for him to have to try this.
Can we get protein shock on a milk steak, you think? I'm not sure.
So I'm not a fish guy.
Okay.
Like I'm not a
same here.
big fish eater.
They just didn't do it a lot growing up. I mean, when they did, my parents would put lemon and black pepper on everything, and it would just kind of defeat the purpose.
Oh, I mean, there's a good seasonings.
Yeah, not when you're in Wichita, Kansas.
But I want to get his actual reaction from this, and be honest. This is for posterity.
Bad. It definitely doesn't have a lot of fish twang to it. The oddest thing about it is like the texture would not be anywhere close to a normal summer sausage texture.
It would be more on the pate side, kind of. Like you can't quite spread this, but with some changes to grinding, you probably could. I wouldn't want to. I think this is absolutely amazing. The Mandarin teriyaki was definitely the right choice for the seasoning. Just works really well with salmon. Top to bottom, whatever. I love this product.
It's almost like a smoked bologna texture.
Yep. That's what I said. I was like, you're going to call me crazy. It's very bologna-y, but in a good way. I feel like it lends itself to the salmon in a way that, I mean, the protein kind of needs it. A little wetness, right? Like it's spammy to a point. Like you wouldn't want a super dry like a salami. I don't think it would eat the same way.
See, to me, the texture bothers me to a point.
Okay. Well, you are a fish hater, so we will kind of ignore your opinion. I love fish, and that is amazing.
I'll say it's edible, and normally I wouldn't be able to choke down.
Is this supposed to be cold too?
What is it?
The steak you left.
Oh, he didn't take that?
No. Is that both for him?
No, one was for him, one was for Taylor.
Oh, what's for me?
Some of this?
Oh, okay. Is this not that?
No. Oh. I don't know.
It is.
You can eat that though.
I believe it's the same.
Okay. So let's talk about this steak for. Yes, this is.
I didn't listen.
Is from this. Okay.
Your face of concern. No. Wait!
Back up, Patrick. Wait.
It's still the same.
I didn't mean to insult you. I wasn't leaving you out.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on.
So, also on Meatgistics recently, somebody talked about using koji rice to mimic a dry aged steak flavor. So, what you do is you get koji rice or koji powder, even though this one says koji power. Coat the steak in it, let it sit for about 30, 40 hours, and then cook it. So, I just went and got an inexpensive strip steak, covered it in koji rice yesterday, early in the day. We just cooked this. I mean, look, God, I love cooking the perfect steak. Patrick can get the first piece because he can make it back to his desk by the time we're ready. All right, there you go, Andrew. I did give you your own fork and knife, and then I stole. So you can have this piece in case you want more. Put your plate over here. There you go. What are our thoughts? Before I eat, I want to see what you guys think. Tastes like steak. I don't see anybody like freaking out over it. So I'm imagining that I'm going to just kind of be disappointed and think this just tastes like steak.
It's got a different twang to it.
Yeah, it's not entirely normal, but there's nothing about it where I'm like, what? Crunchy. Mine tastes
There's something in this that makes me feel like I'm chewing sand. Oh my God, I hate that feeling so much.
I was going to say it. I didn't want to.
I hate that feeling so much.
You know the beginning of Little Rascals where Darla and they're eating sand in their sandwiches? I finally get it now.
See, he must have like swallowed yours faster and I was still chewing. It's not till after you're done chewing.
Oh, I get it during the chewing.
Yeah,
that is worse than nails on a chalkboard to me. I can feel it in the back of my neck.
It's like in between your teeth.
Well, I'm still going to eat this.
Yeah, I was like, you're not going to eat yours?
I'm not going to not eat it. But it's going to annoy me every single bite. Taste, very good. There is a modification to it. I don't know that I would call it, like it doesn't have that kind of nutty flavor that dry aged steak imparts, but it does have a, I don't know, maybe like an extra pop of umami.
There's I feel like a similar flavor on, now stay with me, because it's like I like it, but I wouldn't have it all the time. That like Hawaiian beer with like the subtle blue label on it. It has like a certain thing that happens to my tongue. It's reminding me a lot of what's happening here on this flavor.
Are you like Big Kahuna? I don't know the beer. It is Big Kahuna?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the one.
Well, did you season it all too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I put in Walton's Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub. I wouldn't do anything different. But I mean, look at the perfection of that cook.
It's cooked pretty well.
I'm not great at a lot of things, but I can reverse sear a steak.
It does taste like the meat you get in pho. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that?
Never had it.
Well, that'd be. Oh, you're using the cough button right there. Look at that.
Oh, I forgot to let it go. I've never had that. There used to be a pho place right down the street, and I always told myself, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. It's gone.
Tastes a lot like kind of that meat, but shaved, of course. It's very thin if it's
All
good.
Right. Well, I can't eat another piece of that because it's going to drive me up a wall if I chew sand one more time.
See, I think you may have overdone it on your side. I'm not getting a lot of that on this side.
Psych, I tricked you. Ha,
Mine's 100% at the end of like you get a little bit of the coating of sand.
He's got none of it.
I had it from the first chew to the last bite.
So did I.
Mine wasn't too unpleasant though.
Give me that steak. That is delicious.
Let's not act like we're not above eating sand on this
That is
channel.
way better.
Is it?
Have a piece of his.
Oh, come on.
It's not. I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but it's not.
No.
You're not getting like the grains.
No, it's a strip steak. Do you know what a spinalis is?
No.
It's a cap to a ribeye. Keys for picking out a good ribeye or internal marbling and a large spinalis. That's like the most tender.
Yeah, yours
part
is
of it.
much better.
That is way better. That is delicious.
I thought I just had some heavy mired on mine, like with the black spots, and I was like, "Oh no, it keeps going."
No.
King of the castle.
King of the castle. So, the Koji rice powder. Well, it says power.
It does.
Does.
Now we need. I also bought a bag of actual Koji rice. So this is the test with that. I'm gonna pestle up some of that and try another steak with it. So when I do that next, we'll have to have you back.
But what's the goal of using?
It's supposed to impart a dry age or a aged flavor. So dry aged flavor, yeah. Like, you can buy like aged 45-day steaks. It's supposed to do that. The downside to doing all that is you lose a good amount of the steak. You have to trim off a ton of it. This is supposed to provide a semblance of that without really losing anything. So we'll try it again and hopefully get less sandy stuff, and the whole steak will be as good as that one.
I mean, it's since 1689, so,
Patrick also commented on that. It's like, what'd you say? How many things in America?
Yeah, I said, you don't see a lot of America. I mean, obviously,
You
that
really
being
don't.
a joke because we weren't formed yet, but, what else?
As soon as I bit into it, I got a piece.
Your fault.
Could you hear that? I feel like that was loud enough where you could hear it.
Like the gristle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Pause. I'm going to go get my laptop.
Don't ever
Or keep talking.
tell me what to do.
Okay.
Just did.
And welcome back to the Patrick and Andrew Show.
Depends on what we end up talking about, I think. Wish we had like a mail-in bag. I could just pretend to... Here's the first letter. All right. Text from... Is he from Texas? That's the big question.
It's bold.
And
I know
feel
a lot
like
of Dallas is not from Dallas.
my big problem with Meatgistics guys is that, like, do I gotta call them by their Meatgistics name, or like, do they happen to have real names? Is that a real nickname? Some of these guys, I don't know.
I mean, to me, to be fair, nobody calls me Andrew, right?
Good point. Yeah.
So, no, he got Taylor some. He brought Taylor some. He must have cut up an extra piece.
Oh man.
Left that for... Chase is a very thoughtful person.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm enjoying having him here. All right. We're back on. Did we get to anything that's going to have to be cut out?
No, I don't think so. But if I forget,
But you never quite
there's
know, do you?
nothing that I'm embarrassed about that we
Hit
said.
the outtake section.
So next week's podcast is going to be Nick Hoffman two of us in here. Went and did that shooting event. Then we drove back here, recorded a processing video where we made some snack sticks, and then we recorded a podcast. I think it was really fun to do. I don't know how well it's going to come out.
Cool. No, I think it would be awesome. I feel like we'd had him on originally one of our first podcasts, maybe.
No, it's his first time on it.
So we just heard a lot of the best stories we had heard over the years from him all in one place. So then that's awesome. So yeah, I recommend it.
I mean, there were a couple of those stories that I'd never heard of before.
Oh yeah, for sure. A handful.
Yeah. All right. So somebody stopped into the store the other day and Josh came back and got me and he's like, hey, what about grinding chicken? Are you not eating those? Because if you're not eating those, I will eat those.
I just feel like I don't want to be in the mic gnawing.
Oh, you've got a mute button
all the time.
Here, let me show you how to do it. So into yeah, this thing is awesome.
John's so into helping us,
and it mutes you.
Gotcha.
So you can chew as you go. We needed this because I met somebody and they were like, "Oh, I tried to listen to your podcast, but it's just I can't stand the sound of people chewing."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, we get that complaint all the time." So I'm like, "All right, finally, let's fix it." First one we brought was this big red button that was fun to press, but every time you did it, went,
it's the coolest looking button.
Right?
It felt cool. It had a
way
sweet
cooler
spot
than this.
for it. Yeah, it just didn't work. Dude.
Yeah, it worked. It just peaked the audio as soon as you hit that button, so it's no good. All right, so Josh came back and was talking to me and asked about grinding chicken bones with our grinders, right? And I was like, you really want a Pro Cut 22? But I started thinking about, I'm like, we've done this in the past, haven't we? But if it's been more than like a year or two, good luck on me remembering the results, unless like we actually did a video on it. So I went out there, I talked to a lady, asked her kind of like what she wanted, what she was looking for. I said, I've got to retest this. Like, I don't know. I can do it tomorrow. Like, I've got the time. So I ran to the store. I bought all sorts of different chicken. Tried the 22 and the 32. I actually found the 32 worked better. Generally, I prefer almost everything on the 22. But for this, the 32, I think it's just the larger size of the head.
And I think it runs a little higher RPM, so that might make sense.
But the RPMs per the head size, right? Like those two things should balance out kind of.
No, not really. Because when you're talking like RPMs on that, you're talking RPMs on the motor, right? Because you've got all sorts of gears and clusters working down to a smaller task. So that's going to spin much, much faster than what your big gear at the beginning is going to spin.
Okay. I'm not following. You're saying the 32 will, where the knife is, actually spin faster?
The motor is spinning more revolutions.
Okay, and what's the advantage? I'm not a mechanical guy.
It's more torque.
More torque. Okay.
Yeah, more torque.
Yeah, because it definitely did work better. I found with like, especially the thigh bones, you know, that big chunk on the end of it, after every like 10 pounds or so, you'd want to take the plate and knife off and like remove those huge chunks that just aren't going to grind no matter what. And it's way worse if you try to do grinding with skin still on, because it'll like wrap around those.
Around the knife.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't want to do it anymore. I mean, it still does it. It just doesn't do it as well. I watched a bunch of videos on it yesterday, like after we did ours. And I was like, well, I mean, it does it at least as well as those. And I watched some that said it did it. I was like, you should not be claiming this grinds chicken bones.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's a reason why in the commercial side, right, there's things like bone collectors and systems that work to where, right, relief valve on the side to remove all that excess.
Yeah. Or down the auger. That's the one that I usually see. And not that this is part of the feature for it, but if you, anyone who's used our dual grind system and has done things that maybe you didn't do the best job boning out, you got some cartilage in there, you'll find that the design of that knife, totally randomly, has a little divot behind it, or just a little like
angle
a compartment, like right behind. So here's the blade, and it's got like just a little, probably 1/8 of an inch crevice behind it. That will often catch a lot of that stuff, and it makes sense because it doesn't want to go through, so it just gets pushed behind it. So yeah, but yeah, 22 and 32 do grind chicken bones and rabbit bones if people are doing dog food. I have all of the ground up not all of. I have about a third of all the chicken I ground up yesterday, and I'm considering putting Brutus on a raw food diet or like supplementing, but he's got a fairly sensitive stomach. He used to not be able to eat chicken at all. He eats it all the time now. I'm trying to sell my house, and he's a 200-pound dog who, if he has bathroom problems inside, makes it difficult to sell a house.
Not the dude you want to have stomach problems.
Yeah, not really a good idea. So I think I'm going to hold off on that. All right. Last thing before we get to Meat Matters is a couple weeks ago, we talked about how Red Lobster was filing for bankruptcy.
I'm still trying to.
I know this might make it better or worse depending on what you think of this. We attributed it to their never-ending shrimp. Like,
they took such a hit on that, man.
Because that's what people said. But there's a couple of things. So he sent me this long TikTok, which I had to watch on like TikTok.com because I refused to put TikTok on my phone. But there was this like an equity firm, something. What is the name of it? Golden Gate Capital.
Let's go with it.
It had to have been because they had the Golden Gate Bridge in the back. So Golden Gate Capital or something like that. They actually bought all Red Lobster, right? They bought the entire thing. They then realized, or they knew going in ahead of it, that the real value of that was not in the Red Lobster, it was in the land.
Mm-hmm.
So they then made all of their franchisees or all their locations lease the land from them.
Restaurants on.
And they made them lease it at a above market rate. So they then file for Chapter 11, still own the land, and are going to sell off the Red Lobsters. Okay. Even worse than that, one of the people that they're planning on selling it to was the shrimp provider for Red Lobster. And what people are saying is that they were using the never-ending shrimp thing to offload a bunch of bad shrimp that they had.
I could have never told you that. Them shrimps are
delicious. Yeah, it's all about what seasoning you put on or what you cook it in, really.
I mean, a group of guys that I have a text strand with, we were actually texting about it today, right? Similar thing about the land. Red Lobster saying, no, we're not closing the doors. And really all I care about is I need like 17 days until I can go for my birthday dinner. This is what I do every year.
Is that your thing, is Red Lobster?
Red Lobster.
Okay.
Mine used to be Golden Corral growing up, but yeah. I mean, I joke about the Red Lobster. I've only been to Red Lobster like 3 times in my life, so.
Well, once you taste one of them biscuits.
No, I enjoy it.
Biscuit.
I enjoy it. It was always out of my mom's like, I told you. My mom goes, oh, you won't like lobster. And I go, oh, okay. I guess I just won't like it.
Yeah, and to be fair, like I only go maybe once or twice a year on the birthday and maybe one other time because I got a young kid.
$28.
He's not eating. Yeah.
Right.
And what am I getting him? Mac and cheese, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not impressed with it either.
Not a fun thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Kids
you still got to keep it like a spectacle too, so you don't want to go often. But
yeah,
kids don't deserve like high quality food. Like my parents used to do the same thing with me. With like if they had like crabs, crabs aren't. Really
but around
lobster,
here,
they'd be like, you won't like this.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, that's the best.
The first time I realized that they were lying about one of those things, that failed every time after. They're like, you won't like it. So I was like, yes, I will.
Well, I thought my kid would be into it because they got the live tank with the lobsters in there. No, he hated the lobsters that were in there.
Oh, well, that was the best part about going to the grocery store back in the day.
Yeah, and then I tried to turn that, and I'm like, we could kill him and eat him.
Get that one
right now.
Yeah.
Like if that one bothers you.
Does Red Lobster let you do that? Like I want that lobster.
I think, yeah.
Okay, because I used to go
pick it out of the tank.
When I was younger. We would go to a restaurant in New York, and that was a big thing. Like if it was my brother's birthday or my dad he would like go over with him. Like I want that lobster. And that's a pretty cool way to do it.
I'm gonna name it and kill him.
Right? Yes, it will be in my stomach. All right. Before we started the podcast, we talked about something I think is worth bringing up. What animal do you think you've eaten the most of? And when I say that, I mean consumed. And how many cows do you think?
Animal.
Exactly.
So that means if you have a steak, you didn't just have one cow. You had
a very small portion.
You have to have a
one 1/100th of a cow.
So like 100 steaks is like a cow, so to speak.
Yeah.
If you want to work it like that, let's work something like that. Like don't worry about hey, I had these many ribeyes, this many strip steaks.
It's gotta add
because to
up.
say beef, you're basically going to say, okay, well, every 600 pounds of beef I eat is one cow. So I think it's got to be chicken.
Yeah, I think so too.
It has to be chicken.
I have a different thought on this. I'm pretty sure mine is shrimp.
Yeah.
Because each one is an animal's life, right? Every bite I take, animal dead. And when I usually get around shrimp, I don't just eat a dozen. We're talking 3 dozen.
This sounds like that on that Howard Stern movie where he goes, the grenade went in there and it killed a bunch of people. He goes, that's only one kill. It's one grenade. He goes, no, there was like 30 people.
Those all 30 people
that all counts. So that's all your shrimp. Each one of those, a kill is a kill is a kill, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to reverse the math out. Like we said, if it's like, okay, 100, 200 steaks is a cow.
Right.
How many nuggets is a chicken? Like, right, it's not that many.
Yeah, if you really,
I think it's probably a good amount.
Yeah, but what, like 100 nuggets?
No, I think it's
like
less than that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Even if you go high,
it's like 50 probably.
like right in your everyday life, you're eating 100 nuggies to every shrimp that you're eating.
Yeah, but how often are you eating
overall.
chicken nuggets?
Oh man,
I mean,
now
I eat like a child. So.
the nugget to strip competition is what it is now. So
yeah, I don't eat many chicken nuggets.
I'm definitely dusting chicken nuggets over shrimp, but that's just because and this is a guy that had a po' boy sandwich yesterday telling me this, so I'll have you know.
I guess that's true too. Like you could look at it that different size shrimp too. Like right, you have a po' boy, that's like 40 shrimp.
Right, because they're this big.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty confident in my shrimp answer. That'd be nice if that was one thing you find out when you die. Like, and you ate
Like your
the
summary.
most shrimp.
Your summary.
Yes. Yeah, you
Why couldn't this
review.
happen to Long John Silver's? You know, everyone's thinking it.
The sad part is it's probably like an insect. Like, right, they always say that, like,
The
right,
shrimp are
every night, on average, you eat one spider.
Right. You know,
whatever.
do you know the story behind that?
apparently that's both.
The actual story behind that?
No.
So the thing was you eat 7 spiders a year, right? Like that was the saying. Eventually it came out that 2 I don't know if they were researchers, but they were at like either MIT, Harvard, or like one of those very prestigious schools. They said, let's find something that's just ridiculous, but just believable enough
And roll it out.
and see if we can use the internet to make people believe it. And once they realized that it had taken on and whatever, they came out and tried to stop it, but it just doesn't work because it's way
already
more
out.
fun to say that than say that it's not true. So, but yeah. No, I don't think bugs make sense. I mean, yeah, there's bugs on lettuce and stuff, but like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like any sort of processed food, there's a potential of something in there.
I guess, but it would almost exclusively be vegetables or fruits.
Well, but I'm just taking your 1-for-1 scenario with the shrimp piece. Well, if it was right, if you ate an ant, you could eat like 5,000 ants with 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, right. That's a little crazy, but yes. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Meat matters. 19th annual Power of Meat reports strong meat consumption, evolving consumer trends. This is from the Meat Institute, so you know that it's 100% valid. The number of Americans who describe themselves as meat eaters is, take a guess.
Percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise. And I want your answer too, Patrick.
You're gonna have to ask the
Oh,
question.
man,
Yep,
there's
no
a
problem.
lot of ignorant people. I'm going to say that like 45.
Patrick, he says 45% of Americans describe themselves as meat eaters. What would you think it is?
68.
Okay. You're both low. It's 80%.
Wow.
Okay. So 80% describe themselves as meat eaters.
That's a rookie score though, but
And the number of households that purchase meat is
90?
72.
98. So 2% of people are actually vegetarians and vegans.
See, I figured that like there'd be some spin on that. You know, it's like
Like
people that
lower.
say they're vegan,
But they're not.
but I eat chicken.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
You know,
There's a lot of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole, whatever you want to call it, dietary people call themselves pescatarians. They only eat fish as their only source of protein.
They're not killing anything. Right. Yeah. They don't have any feelings, so it's okay.
I don't understand how a fish is different in their eyes than a chicken, but whatever. So the number of households that purchase meat, 98%, remains steady from 2023, while the number seeking to decrease meat consumption has fallen by, so this is from 2020 to 2023. The number of people who say, I want to decrease the amount of meat I eat has gone down. What's the percentage it's gone down? So you
want the delta.
I just want the percentage. Like how many, like if
20, like if it went down 10%.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think 10% is a safe
All
number.
Right. Patrick?
20.
20 exactly.
Right on.
Patrick wins the
Did they say why? Was it people thinking it's healthier to not eat meat?
So no, but I do believe, and whatever you feel about them, Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, all those guys who are doing like the lion diet or the carnivore diet or whatever, I think that's opened a lot of people's eyes to the fact that, no, meat can be extremely healthy for you. You just have to eat the right cuts of meat and cut out, all these other things.
Yeah, it's typically not your steak in your steak dinner that's the problem. It's the 3-pound potato and the 2 sticks of butter that you're putting on it.
I don't have any problem with butter. I love butter.
Yeah, but when you're talking sheer calories.
Sure, it is high in calories. Yeah.
Depends how you're looking at that from a what's healthy. Is it low sodium? Is it low calorie? Is it?
At the end of a night of drinking, when I was living in New York, I paid my friend Gerard Zoki, I think $20 to eat a full stick of butter, but he had to do it all in one go and he couldn't leave the kitchen until he did it. He powered through that thing, man.
Dude, there was a guy at my last job that he was doing something like the caveman or something like that, where it was, you eat nuts and whatever. And as a snack, he would grab a stick of butter and just come up to you like it was completely normal, just chawing on it like it's a Snickers.
That's a fun game. See if you can get people uncomfortable by just walking up to them and gnawing on a stick of butter. Patrick, what were you telling me the other day about at a baseball game, some guy was eating summer sausage?
Oh man, he had it. He was eating it like a corn dog. He unsheathed it from the plastic or the wrapper, and he was just from the top down, A to Z, just not.
And did you see video of this? Or did you see pictures?
It was over his shoulder photo, so you got to see full on bites that would indicate that. Yeah, exactly, like that. But it wasn't like a full on normal summer sausage like the size of the salmon. It was about the size that we make our pepperoni.
Right. So it's a little bit thinner.
a little thinner, but closer to summer sausage than a stick, of course.
I still feel like that's worth. If you're doing that in public and somebody videotapes you, you should be like, yeah, this is worthy of me being.
But think about it. Can you think of a more convenient way to get your calories in, and it's already in a convenient enough way that you can hide it, on your person?
Sure.
Past security. And you're not really doing too much harm. It's not like it takes a lot of prep. It's not warm. There's not a cheese. There's not condiments involved. It even has you could re-vacuum seal it later and it's fine. It's not going to go bad. Everything I'm saying here, it could be hot. It could be cold. Whatever you want it to be, it's available.
So you're saying summer sausage is basically the perfect portable protein.
Boom.
Okay. 2 things. One, write down or something the word pemmican.
No. Portable protein.
No, I know. And that's what I'm saying.
Perfect portable protein.
And then also write down pemmican.
Okay.
PEMICAN.
It is a good thought, right? No packaging really needed. You've got it right there.
We sound like the guys coming up with Slim Jims. We're like, oh man, what? I mean, tell us a reason not to make them.
No, I think this is the blackberry. This is way bigger than Slim Jims.
It's funny. I am making a list of other things here just to kind of remind myself, but it's it starts off with 2 just mid 2000s movies, Torque and Bone Collector. So I'm just kind of, you guys went sentence for sentence there. I was hoping there'd be a third, and I was going to interrupt and let you know exactly where this podcast
He's thinking of titles. Is what he's trying to do. All right. Tyson's Perry pork plant sends shockwaves in state economy. So a couple weeks ago, Tyson has a pork plant in Perry, Iowa, and they were closing it down.
Pork plant in Perry, Iowa. Come on, dude.
Making perfect protein.
You left out portable. Why would you leave out the best word?
That dude in scanners over here. My skin's my head's going to explode.
So that's a big deal in that town. It employs a lot of people. But to give you a good idea of how much of the country's pork is produced in Iowa, in Perry, how much of the country's pork is produced at the pork plant in Perry, Iowa? That one plant, if you shut it down, that's 5% of Iowa's production, right? So just 5%. Just take a guess at how much that is of the country's production. So it's just 5%.
So 5% of Iowa's would be 20 of the country's?
No. So the whole state of Iowa produces X number. This is just 5% of that number.
Okay.
So what percent of the country's do you think that 5% was? So it's got to be a smaller number.
3.
Okay. Patrick, that is huge. 1.7. So out of all the pork produced in the entire country, this one plant is 1.7%, but that same plant is only 5% of all of Iowa. So Iowa's producing all of the pork.
So it's like a 2 to 5 scenario?
Yes. That's insane, right? That's absolutely insane. So but obviously this isn't funny. That town is scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. They were a huge employer up there. Also, Iowa got slammed by tornadoes the other day. Did you see the videos of that?
Yes.
Oh, yes. That is scary stuff, man. Denny O is a Meatgistics guy who I know is up there. So I reached out to him. Haven't heard back yet. But I was just like, hey, I know Iowa's big, but you okay? All right. Target to lower prices on 5,000 items, including meat. I saw there's another major company doing this kind of the same time. Isn't this just kind of like eventually how the free market works, though?
Yeah.
People are like, hey, I'm not buying that anymore.
Dictates the price, right? I mean, that's, you would think. But, right, you've still got, right, clearly pork. Well, our last story is, right, even with the pricing being what it is compared to beef.
So pork, though, is like done on futures. Because Austin and I were talking like month after month about how pork producers were losing money. And he's like, why do they keep doing this? Don't they raise their price? But it's all contracted out way ahead of time. So there's, you have a contract to
you're doing it for so much a pound. Yep. But in that scenario, I assume the futures aren't quarterly or semi-annually.
No.
Wouldn't the futures just go, right, the next point of purchase is going to be drop immediately?
Mm-mm. No, like pork bellies you can buy futures on, and I think it's 6 months to a year out.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about companies dropping value on stuff or cost on stuff, McDonald's has the new $5 meal. Have you heard of this?
No, it sounds like we're going the wrong direction with McDonald's, dude.
So. But why? They have a $5 meal. That's like what we've been complaining about is how, a McDouble or Big Mac is $7.49.
What's on the $5 meal?
Yeah, there you go. So it's either a chicken sandwich or I think maybe a McDouble, a small fries and a Coke.
Yeah,
what's the point of a small fry?
Yeah, but when you compare that, what is a McDouble to a quarter pounder? It's got to be pretty close.
I would imagine
to the same amount of food, right?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you spit in my face, buddy? How many years have we been going to McDonald's, giving them money time after time, like a little bit here, and it's gone up and up and up and up, and then they go, all right, we got a $5 thing here, and it's just like, yeah, that's just the items combined together to make $5. Like it's the small chicken sandwich I'm getting anyways, or it's going to be smaller. Anytime you go anywhere and you get their bundle, it's valued differently. It's like you go to Wendy's, get anything off their value meal. It's not the same size as the Dave single, right?
So a McDouble right now is $3.40. A small fry.
See, but now we're gonna play balls. That's ridiculous. They're trying to repackage it in a way that's healthy, and it's not.
No. They're not trying to repackage this as healthy.
No, I meant from a price standpoint.
It's saying it's saving you money, but it's bought individually. It's not.
And now they're doing away with the drink thing. It's just,
But here's the deal. It's around for this month only, and Coca-Cola is subsidizing it.
So free drink, basically.
They're giving him $4.6 million for this specific program.
You know, when I stopped going there, I asked my friend, I go, what do you want? And he goes, let me get the J Balvin meal or whatever, right? And I go, yeah, exactly that face you're looking. I go, okay, I'm not sure what that is, but if I just say that, he'll say we can get that. And he goes, yeah, you should. I go, let me get that. He goes, do you have the code on your phone? I go, what? He goes, you got to have the app, and then there's like a code on there that lets you get. I go, no, I don't think he has that. You have that? No, you don't have that. Okay, yeah, sorry, can't get it. And I go, all right, bud. Looks like we're going to Burger King. And all it was like the normal stuff we all like to get, like a chicken sandwich, nuggets or something, and then like fries and a McFlurry. But it's just like you save like 80 cents or something if you have the code. But I'm like, buddy, can't you just ring up the items you know to be true on there and just charge us? Like, what are we talking
without
about?
Said code.
Yeah.
What does this cost me?
Hey, I want to talk to Ronald.
Yeah, he wanted this thing, if I remember correctly, was a specific group of things, right? Like I want the whatever.
Right. Instead of a drink, you got a McFlurry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's just
so
like,
it's things they already sell.
Things they already
he wouldn't
sell.
put them together for him. Makes no sense.
Well, and I think a lot of that though, it's all labor, right? I was reading a thing on, I think it was Wendy's toying with something in another state that it's surge pricing.
Yeah.
So if they're busy,
Yep.
you pay $3 for that sandwich. If they're dead, you pay $1 for that sandwich.
I'm more of a vault guy myself.
I'm fine with that. I'll just find their least busy times and start going then.
Well, yeah. I mean, right. I do that anyway without surge pricing. If I pull in somewhere and there's 10 cars, I'm like, yeah, I ain't waiting for this.
I wonder if that could actually work out really well for me, because I'm trying to think, like, every time I ever in the last 10 years have gone out to dinner, I'm in there and out before the rush. My Lisa and I, when we were in New York, we thought we found the coolest like little wine bar type place, because I don't like being around a ton of people. So we're sitting there having a great time. There was like us, the bartenders, and a couple other people. And then eventually, like more and more and more people kept coming. Like, that's why. It's because we're old and we're out here at 5:30. Right.
Yeah.
So that's maybe a reason for the early.
This
bird
place is
specials.
underground. It's real happening without even being.
As long as
you eat dinner at 3.
All right. McDonald's sausage is made of fewer ingredients than we thought. Do you find that surprising?
What do you mean fewer?
No,
what else?
more ingredients cost more money.
No, not necessarily. If those ingredients are cheap or just all additives and preservatives, that would be no.
So whatever your idea is, I'm going to crumple it up.
So back
just
in
whatever I answer is wrong, basically.
Yes, that's what we're
times.
Well, we have to keep on like Pat or like Austin's still here.
Not.
So in 2018, they changed their sausage, how they made their sausage, I guess. But it's corn syrup solids, whey protein, MSG, propyl galactate, and citric acid. Now it's just pork, dextrose, and salt.
So before there was no pork?
No, there was. Those were also on it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So they removed those 4 ingredients.
They removed all those, yeah. And so now it's actually, that's a fairly healthy and clean label. So good job, McDonald's. Crews respond after ground chicken spills from tractor trailer in Spartanburg, Colorado, or county. One of the two. I can't remember which. So
just a truck of ground chicken.
Valve opened on the back and it was just driving down, just it closed the road for like 4 hours.
Just let
and they're going to have to close it. Yeah. Well, that definitely is going to happen. They're going to have to close it again sometime in the next few days to come back and like get the rest of it.
And the roadkill that it's going to happen.
For sure. All of the residents that they interviewed are like, this smells so bad. You can't imagine. One of the guys walked out and he's like, I thought there was a chemical of some sort spill, like specific chemical. It's like, that's how bad it smelled. How 3M execs convinced a scientist the forever chemicals that she found in human blood were safe. Any guesses on how they would have done that for her? So the scientist was doing an experiment and she found that a bunch of these chemicals were in people's blood. The execs of 3M, you know the company 3M?
Tape.
Post-it notes.
Oh, okay.
And tape.
Like Romeo and Michelle High School's reading. They invented Post-its.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, just say
Never
yes.
saw it. Yes.
Aren't you the older one of this group?
I don't feel like that. Was that directed at my age?
I don't know.
Okay.
You are old.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I think they went to high school in 94 or something.
I am old. Yes, we know this. This is not, you're not breaking news here.
You seem like a Lisa Kudrow fan. Sorry. Anyways, please continue. Gosh.
I hated Friends and all of the characters. They convinced her that they were safe, those forever chemicals in people's blood, by giving her money.
Oh, I thought you were going to say kill her.
No, that was probably next on their list.
Yeah.
Though.
So where did that stem from, though? Like, she got these forever chemicals from?
She was doing research
them?
on people's blood, found them.
This sounds like the plot to Catwoman. Does it make her younger or something? Is that, the Halle Berry one? No.
All right.
No, yes.
No.
Is that not?
Large amount of meat dumped on Ohio Road. This was from literally today as well. Another. But this one was intentional. Look at that. That's
Why?
a couple 100 pounds. They said it was pork loins, chicken breast, pork butts, and maybe some beef as well. But I mean, that is a huge amount
So like
of meat.
refrigeration went out in the truck,
Had
and
to have
like
been.
right, they didn't want to blow the truck out, so they just cleared it.
And it's in Ohio. I'm pretty sure Ohio has black bears. So just like, I guess we'll feed them on a county road
Ohio.
instead of paying to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably better than the alternative because how else would they have
Well,
disposed of it? I mean, obviously not on the side of
this
the
way.
road.
Obviously not
but-
this way.
Right, I'm sure there's some sort of process that it has to be destroyed in a certain way. and-
Right. So this is cheaper.
Right.
For
Yeah,
sure.
And then you're feeding bears.
Yeah, that's not a good idea, though.
The bears need all the help they can to get bulked up for
Oh,
when
God.
the gorilla.
Oh, I don't want to ruin it, but I asked Nick Hoffman that question. And he is, I don't know if he's ever been around gorillas, but he told us stories of the 2 times he was charged by bears. So I was
Listen,
into that.
Jane Goodall could say that a bear would take a monkey
And you
or
would
a
still-
silverback, and I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about, lady.
You are stubborn. Very, very stubborn. This is an old story, but yeah, the gorilla would be trying to be like, don't attack me. I'm a gorilla.
Pepsi.
Yeah, something stupid. And the grizzly just be like, meat. 40-year-old meat confiscated in China. Who doesn't love a well-aged porterhouse steak or an 18-month aged slice of prosciutto? Perhaps that's what Chinese smugglers who were caught selling 40-year-old meat were thinking. Chinese officials found and confiscated 800 tons.
Wow.
800 tons of contraband meat this week.
So this just has to be part of the 800 tons.
Some of it dated back to the 1970s.
Where is this being stored?
Is that all at once or those?
The frozen meat that had been around since the end of the Vietnam War was headed towards restaurants, supermarkets, and retailers. According to Chinese state-run media, the meat was worth around $1.6 million. Food smuggling has been a problem in China. This month alone, Chinese customs officials have confiscated $500 million in illegal frozen meat. A customer told Xinyu, a state-run Chinese newspaper, that they found the meat because it was too smelly, a truck full of it. I almost threw up when the door opened. 20 suspected members of the gang were arrested for trying to ship the meat from Hong Kong to Vietnam.
Yeah, but where are you storing
I don't know,
40-year-old meat?
It was frozen.
Yeah, but like think about that. If you store it that long, it's no longer like, is it really worth $1.6 million?
I imagine as soon as you put any heat to it, it's just going to dissolve into
Yeah, it's got to
Like
be.
paste.
Sounds like a
atrocious.
ripoff. You said how many tons?
800 tons.
And it's only
1.6.
only $1.6 million.
Yeah.
Sounds like a clear ounce outlet store
For
full
sure.
of meat. My gosh.
Somebody talk while I bring up my calculator. All right, 1.6 million.
Yeah, I'm just confused where you store that amount of meat for 40 years.
All right, so it's $2,000
I don't think-
per ton. A ton is 2,000 pounds.
crazy.
So that's $1 a pound.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's a
low.
sweet deal.
It's a bargain basement. All right, moving on to wild card. Link rot. This is for my SEO research. Sorry about that. This is not about this. BC man shoots grizzly bear in an attack that left him with broken bones and cuts. They actually shut down, I guess, like the entire half of a park because of this when this happened. There's also a lot of pushback on whether or not like this shooting. We talked about this a couple weeks ago too. This is a different story, but that's weird. There's pushback on whether or not like it was Ned from South Park. They're coming right for us.
Yeah.
So some people were like, did not need to shoot the bear. I'm thinking if I see a bear and I have a gun and it's coming towards me in any threatening manner, I'm shooting that.
Well, plus in that scenario, right, it could be 25 yards away and you're going to feel threatened.
100 yards away, I'd feel threatened.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is you're right in that scenario. Nobody knows. And if I've got a firearm on me, I'm probably going to make sure the bear doesn't get any closer.
Oh, for sure.
I played Red Dead, shot at a bear. He still killed me. So it's like, I don't know what to do with that thing. It was terrifying. Only had one chance at it.
That game's coming to PlayStation, so I might actually.
Oh, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down and play at the beginning because I haven't the second one, so I'm gonna really try to enjoy that.
A 70-year-old man was killed by a moose in Alaska.
70?
70. Okay. It was what do you call it? Cow?
No.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Old.
Old. I think it's bull moose and it's got to be cow moose. She had her babies with her and he like walked up trying to photograph them and it was nope, not having that.
I can imagine this guy. Come on, get them together.
Hey, get that one. Get it back in frame.
No, hey buddy. You stay. Yeah, gosh.
Nailing it with her paws.
Well, the thing, like when you watch, if something horrific like that would happen to me on video, I would know because I watched a ram destroy a guy. But it's not the first hit that's so daunting and hard to watch. It's the 100th.
Yeah.
You think?
No, that ram one was tough. You showed me that.
Yeah, like it's on fast. Where you're like, okay, enough. So you can imagine the moose. Like it would be.
It would just boom, boom, boom.
No, again, why are you near a moose?
Going, yeah.
Like that is an intimidating animal.
Especially if you're in Alaska, I have to imagine like people explain to you like, hey, moose are very dangerous.
Yes. Taller than this room, right? Like my back and the horn.
They
like
can be very tall.
I don't know if it'd be taller than this room.
Well, like considering how
I mean, with horns.
Horns, yeah.
Maybe.
Is that the word?
Antlers.
Thank you.
How tall do you think this ceiling is?
Probably 9 foot.
Yeah, like 9. All right. 2.3 meters. So
9 foot. No.
7.
3 would be 9 foot. So
yeah.
I reached with my hand.
8 something. Did you get it?
And I can touch it, so it's not like it's astronomically tall.
You could literally touch it?
I don't know.
no.
I have to.
No.
Oh, okay. You're jumping.
No, not jumping. My foot's on the ground, but I'm like.
Yeah, and you're a foot away.
You can touch. No, he touched it. No problem there with his little hop. Sorry,
funny.
My jump.
My little hop is my big jump.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Last one I've got is bull attacks tourists who is feeding the animal on a Mexican beach. So this idiot was feeding a bull, and it eventually just said, all right, I'm sick of having food from you. I'm going to ram you numerous times.
Screw you guys.
Toss you around. Like, I don't know what gets in people's mind where they see wild animals and they're like, oh, I can go touch it. I'm special.
Disney.
I mean, I do know it goes through people's minds because my wife is one of those people.
Yeah.
They just
what's the most dangerous thing she's ever tried to go up to?
The one that bothered me the most was like we're in like a swim out pool thing off of our room. And like you got room service there. So there's like some French fries. Well, she feeds this little, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a half raccoon, half squirrel thing over there.
Sure.
Where is it?
It's got more
Mexico.
It's got more of a face probably.
So
it, right?
yeah, so she gives one of these things a French fry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Next thing you know, it's like
it's on
Return of the Empire.
Oh,
where it's just 1,000 little Ewok things.
Oh my god!
Have surrounded the entire pool.
Like the beginning of the Lost World Jurassic Park, that little girl and those dinosaurs.
Does that look like it?
Kinda.
A cacamistel?
sounds.
I don't know, but it's in Mexico, and it looks like a cross between a raccoon and.
Well, that's what came up when I said half raccoon, half squirrel. Mexican
raccoon squirrel. You go.
Yes, I don't think that's specifically it, but there were probably 50 of these things within 30 seconds.
Raccoon wouldn't be a terrible pet.
Did you have to give him your wallet, or what happened?
I just went inside.
Yeah.
I figured that was the ground.
Shut the door. You got it. Oh, I thought you left your wife out there.
Flashbang them with a handful of fries, and I was out.
Leave us alone.
It's lateral movement.
Just keys, shake them.
No, that would bring them in more.
Oh, sorry. I think what are we trying to do? It's like a baby. What are you trying to accomplish?
Here we come. All right. That's all I got.
What's new?
Nope.
All right.
We'll see you, in 2 weeks, because this upcoming week, we're going to release the episode we recorded with Nick. And on the same day, we're going to release the video of making sausage with him, which was a blast. Patrick had a really good idea. Because Nick and I were talking as we were doing the sausage. And we were kind of talking about some other things too. And he's like, this should be the podcast. Like, instead of sitting down and just interviewing, like, you should make something with somebody, like something that they want to make. And then you talk about other things as you go.
Yeah. And you just happen to do the whole process.
That's a really good idea.
I think it's a great idea. The problem is a lot of the guests are remote.
Right. Yeah. It would have to be in studio guests only. But
and then I've been listening to some of it, even with equipment on, like
still sounds okay.
It sounds great. And I think people are super forgiving when it comes to like audio that's imperfect, but as long as you have a reason why. Like if you see someone sitting outside, you can hear some outdoor audio, won't bug you any. So I figured the same thing with that. So
yeah.
So we might be trying that in the future.
Awesome.
So think of something you want to make. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.